Let's go and see an amazing WILDHOOD show.
Hi kids, welcome to the WILDHOOD Festival. I'm Lewis the Plant Guy and I host the Little Green Fingers Club. Today we're going to be making a jungle of air plants. To do this project you'll need a large piece of driftwood or a rock, some glue which you might require an adult to help you with, a selection of interesting air plants and some moss. I also have a tray here which is watertight and you might want to use that in order to stop any water from shedding off and damaging furniture. Air plants come from Central and Southern America and they are unusual because they don't require roots or soil in which to grow. That means we can glue them onto driftwood like this or even onto stone walls as long as they're indoors and protected. These are houseplants in the UK. There are lots of different types. Some of them, particularly those with silvery leaves, tend to prefer slightly drier spots and we'll be positioning them higher. Those with green leaves are better in damper conditions and they'll go lower in our jungle. All that you need to do to maintain them is to give them a little spray of water every couple of days and once every fortnight feed them with a special houseplant spray or particularly an air plant spray. There are a number of companies around the UK that supply them and they're available in most garden centres now. A few years ago I made this small driftwood feature. One of the plants has since died, so I think we'll glue another one on today to make it a perfect little feature for a shelf, perhaps in a bedroom or on a windowsill. They like a good amount of direct sunlight, but they don't like to burn or scorch, so you need to be a bit thoughtful about where you position them. You also need to think that if you're going to be spraying them regularly, you don't want to soak furniture. So I've mounted this piece of driftwood to a board. You could glue it inside a tray, or like this one, it could just be a freestanding piece. I'm going to put some sphagnum moss in and around the bottom. And what that'll do is it'll just keep a nice humid environment around the base, passing water up for the air plants to live. Now all the air plants that we're using today are called Tillandsia, and they're the biggest group of air plants in the world. There are hundreds of different colours and different shapes, and it's worth finding the ones that you like the most. Some of them, like I've said, with big broad silvery leaves will do much better in dry spots, whereas others will benefit from more moisture. When you're thinking about how to lay out your display, try and position them in advance. Get a feel for how they look together and whether you like the textures as you're building. You might want to use a little bit of sellotape or masking tape just to hold them in place while you work out a layout. But once you've got something that you feel comfortable with, you can start gluing them down. This is probably a job for an adult, and it's certainly a job that's better done if you're wearing gloves. I'll glue this one down here. You want to use a waterproof glue, ideally clear and non-toxic. If it isn't waterproof, over time your air plants will fall off. You also want to use a fairly quick drying glue or you'll be standing here for some time holding them together. Once in place, you might want to fix a small amount of another dried moss into the glue just to hide the base and give you a more attractive finish. I'll glue another one over here. And hold it in place tightly, just a few seconds, and it should hold in place. Towards the top we've got a broader silvery leaf variety which will definitely do better in dry spots. And I'll just fix him in there. You can add as many or as few as you want, and all you need to do is just make sure that you're happy with the layout. Some of them might even wedge in place without the need for glue. This one's not fixing. So I'll add a little bit more glue just to hold it in place. Perfect. I think we'll add one more on the front here. Just poking out. Now, once you're happy with the layout, and I might add a few more, but I think I quite like what I've got at the moment, you can finish off sorting your moss, tuck it in around the base of your driftwood, perhaps add a little more, then just add a little bit of water to the moss because it likes to drink a lot, and because this is a watertight tray, it'll hold nicely in place. And once your glue is fully dried, give your air plants a little misting with water, and you can mist your driftwood as well. If you don't buy your driftwood and choose to use a rock or another piece of driftwood that you've taken from the beach or from some woodland or perhaps your garden, you need to think about making sure that it is clean and safe to use beforehand. Particularly if it's been in the coast, you'll find the salt will have leached into the wood and it won't be very favourable for the plants. So all I need to do now is to give them a little feed and then put them in a reasonably bright but not hot spot inside. If you make your own air plant jungle, or any jungle at all for that matter, why not share it with us on the WILDHOOD family app? I'd love to see what you can create. I hope you're enjoying the WILDHOOD Festival, and I'll see you next week for the Little Green Fingers Club on WILDHOOD Family. Bye for now.
Let's go and see an amazing WILDHOOD show. Let's go and see an amazing